Hello, my name is Ben, and welcome back to Ben Sports Talk. We will be talking about the upset and win for Florida Gators against Utah last night. A very exciting game. Most importantly, this was Billy Napier's first game ever as a Florida head coach, and he showed that this team is a lot better than last year and is ready to compete this year. So let's get right into it. So the final score of the game was 29-26 Florida with Bernie getting them a game-saving interception at the goal line to stop Utah from taking the lead in the final seconds. But the story of last night's game was Anthony Richardson. Oh my, he has shot himself in everyone's week one performance. He has shot himself to be at the top of the Heisman list. He finished 17 completions, 24 attempts, 160 yards. Didn't throw a lot. It was very humid, wet, and that's not really our offense right now. And when I say our, I am a Florida fan, just so you guys know. But yeah, Anthony Richardson was a major player in this. In rushing, he led the team in rushing yards with 106 rushing yards on 11 attempts with 3 touchdowns, with a 45-yard rushing touchdown in the first half, and a game-winning one with a minute left in the fourth quarter. But also Montrell Johnson, the transfer from Louisiana, who came in with Billy Napier. He did have the one fumble in the first drive, but he bounced back, leading the team in carries and 75 rushing yards for himself, 6.3 yards per carry, and a rushing touchdown. I think it was in the third quarter, right? No, it was in the start of the fourth quarter. So yeah, Montrell Johnson redeemed himself. Both number twos, actually, for Florida redeemed themselves. Montrell Johnson had a fumble early, then bounced back to have a good game. And Bernie, he was getting beat a good bit in coverage with Utah's 2 tight ends. Granted, they are probably the best 2 tight ends in the nation, but he did come up clutch. And came away with a game-sealing interception. That being said, our Florida defense, it played good. It came up big when it needed to be, but I do have some concerns, mostly about the run defense. I do understand that Utah's run offense in general, Utah's a good team. They're number 7 for a reason, and they have a good running back and good O-line, but still, they had Tavon Thomas, their starting running back, had 115 yards on 23 carries and a touchdown. Shouldn't really be happening, especially at home when you have home field advantage, but it is what it is. But hopefully that will get better. It is a new defense system and stuff. Also, Cam Rising, 91 rushing yards on 7 attempts. He had that big one in the last drive, which at the game, personally, I thought probably with the time left, they probably didn't win, but defense stood strong and ended the game. So no, that was pretty exciting. But yeah, also on this they had another rushing touchdown from Micah Bernard, number 2. So that was, I'm pretty sure, the one at the goal line in the fourth quarter. It was 6 minutes left. No, that was at the end of the third quarter. Okay, yeah, when they went up 19-14. But yeah, let's go back to Anthony Richardson real quick. Sorry. He is set himself apart as probably, I would say, maybe the top 3 quarterback in the SEC right now. It's after week 1 performances, it's most doubtly probably Bryce Young. He's gonna probably stay number 1 for a long entire season. And then number 2 is tough. I have either Anthony Richardson or KJ Jefferson. KJ Jefferson had a pretty good game against the Cincinnati Bearcats. Let me see if I can find that game. Where is it? Yeah, Arkansas was a 19, and Cincinnati was I think they were 23, I believe. Yes, and Arkansas won 31-24. KJ Jefferson, 18 for 26, 223 yards and 3 touchdowns, no picks. Did a pretty good game, and he rushed for another touchdown, so he had 4 total touchdowns in this game. He was the entire team, so he was responsible for all the touchdowns Arkansas had. So without KJ Jefferson, Arkansas probably loses that game. But I mean, he's a good player, and Arkansas is gonna hopefully have a good year coming up. But yeah, I would probably have Bryce Young. 2A is Anthony Richardson. 2B is KJ Jefferson, and probably 3 is Stetson Bennett right now. And we'll get into the Georgia game in a little bit. I just want to talk a little bit more about Florida and their upcoming schedule. They play Kentucky next week at home in Gainesville. I think it's also going to be a night game. Kentucky, first half, did not look too special. It was 13-10 Kentucky against Miami of Ohio. Will Levis wasn't looking too good. He cleaned up his act in the second half. He did have a lot of help with I think it was the what? Oh, I'm sorry, no. I mean, it's Miami of Ohio had the takeoff return touchdown. I thought that was Kentucky. My bad. But yeah, he cleaned it up. He actually had to come back. They were down 17-13 after that opening kickoff return touchdown, and he battled back. It was kind of a close game. Not really what you want to see from Kentucky, since they're the ranked team going up against Miami of Ohio, but working out the kinks. Will Levis, 21 for 32, 303 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. I mean, that's good. It's nothing to. I mean, I guess it's a decent game, but it's not really what everyone was talking about him in the offseason, how he's probably going to be a top 2 quarterback in the SEC, but we'll wait and see. It's just one game. On the offense, for Kentucky, they had nothing crazy, actually. But Travion Robinson, their leading wide receiver for this game, 6 catches, 136 yards, and no touchdowns, but that was a good game by him. Who is this? Dane Key was the second leading receiver, number 6. He had 4 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown. Their rushing attack, though, not really there. Their leading rusher had 32 yards and 7 carries. So I do think that will be a weak point in them. So I think that for defense can capitalize off that and just go straight off the pass rush, which I do think, considering the stats will show I don't think we got a sack against Utah, but looking back at the film, Brandon Cox Jr. was working his man over and over, but there was a lot of holding penalties that should have been called, weren't, but it is what it is, but that happens in some games. But he was creating pressure for Cam Rising, that's why he was having to scramble a lot those times, and it was just that the linebackers were out of position. It is what it is. New defense, it probably will be fixed by the end of the year or maybe even next week. We don't know. But yeah, this game, with how much confidence I have in Florida, I think they are going to win this game. It's going to be same as last night game in Gainesville. I don't know if it's going to be raining or anything. I don't think that's going to matter because Kentucky is used to this. Utah was not. You could see they were catching cramps a little bit. But Kentucky, I think they will be good. I don't think they're as good as everyone thinks they are because they were struggling a good bit against Miami of Ohio. Excuse me. But yeah, I do think Florida will win this. I think it might be. Here's the thing: it could be close, like maybe a field goal, like 3 points, 7 or 1 score game. I do think that could happen. I don't see us losing this game, but it also could be a blowout where we just run the ball more consistently. Because my goodness, this team. I'm really excited for later in the year when Billy Napier has enough confidence in Anthony Richardson to throw the ball deep. I don't think last night was the time to do it because one, it was a good team on the other side and not really the best throwing conditions. But Anthony Richardson did come up clutch when throwing the ball, especially on those third downs. Xavier Henderson had a big game, I guess. 6 catches, 41 yards. Most of those were small screen passes, but they did get the job done. Ricky, I need to say his name right. Ricky Purcell. I'm just gonna call him Ricky Purcell. He's the transfer from Arizona State. My friend Carrie was talking about how he's gonna be a stud for us, and oh my gosh, he is. It sucks that he didn't get the ball more, but 4 catches, 67 yards. He came up clutch every time he had the ball. He averaged 16.8 yards per catch, so 17 yards. So basically a first down every time he got the ball. Justin Shorter, 2 catches, 25 yards. I think in the later in the year, or maybe, I don't know if they're going to have, but most of the game, I was seeing Justin Shorter. He was left on an island against one-on-one. So I do think we could have capitalized on that. Maybe it would have been a different game. Still, we won the game, but that's going to be something that is probably going to increase the passing yards and passing attempts later in the year. But right now, we are a run-first team. Smash mouth football. We have 3 great running backs and Anthony Richardson. I didn't even talk about the running backs. I'm so sorry. I talked about Montrell Johnson. He had a redemption game. Naquan Wright, he is a good running back, but he did kind of slow down after that first drive. For that first drive, he was going pretty good. Had a few breakaway runs in the game, but besides that, nothing too crazy. 10 yards, 39 yards, 10 attempts. But Trevor Etienne is, if he's anything like his brother or half that, he is going to be a monster. He had 5 carries, 64 yards, 13 yards on average. Had a fumble. My jeez. In the last drive for Florida. Luckily, he recovered it. But, it also showed that next play, Billy Napier gave him the ball again. So that's level of trust that a freshman has already earned from his coach. So that's good to see. He was very explosive, had a bunch of explosive runs, so he's going to be fun to watch in the upcoming years. I was talking about Utah. Cam Rising, passing-wise, he was okay. I was expecting a bit more from what I saw last year, but I don't know if the moment caught up to him or it was just the game plan wasn't for him to pass the ball like that. But 22 for 32, 216, touchdown and a pick, it is what it is. But yeah, to talk about Kentucky. Now let's get to the Georgia game. So, do I think Georgia's good? Yes. They will probably make the playoffs. Stetson Bennett maybe, just maybe, can make a Heisman statement. But I don't believe Oregon was the number 11 team in the nation. I don't think they should have been ranked. They were a bit overrated from last year. So, they did beat Oregon by 46. Yes, that is a good win. Oregon should not have had 11 next to their name. They were not that good. I just don't think they will be good in the Pac-12 because Pac-12 does not have the same level of competitiveness. But yeah, let's see. Stetson Bennett, considering everything, he missed only 6 completions, right? Yeah, 25 for 31, 368 yards, only 2 touchdowns, but 0 picks. And Connor Beck, the backup, came in 5 for 6, 71 yards, and a touchdown. Bo Nix, man, I remember watching TV when he signed with Auburn, and everyone was saying he was going to be the next great quarterback in college football. Man, he finished 21 for 32, 173 yards, and 2 picks. The first pick, maybe you can get away because that was a great play by the DB. But the second pick, I think it was trips to the right. The tight end ran a seam route, and so did the slot receiver. The wide out. He did a stop route, and Bo Nix decided to choose a tight end that was basically in triple coverage and wasn't even looking at the ball. And so a wide receiver that ran the stop route was open, and I think the slot receiver was a bit open, but it was a stretch. But Bo Nix decided to choose the worst option, and he threw his second pick. So Bo Nix might, I don't know who Oregon plays. I'm assuming they play some better or like not as good teams. The best teams they play BYU in 2 weeks and Utah for their second to last game. So it isn't, I won't say easy schedule, but 8-4 could be on the table if there's no slip ups. But yeah, Oregon, it is their first year head coach, Dan Lanning, and he was from Georgia, so they knew. I'm assuming they have been practicing against that for a little bit, but not a good look for Oregon at their opening week. Georgia, dominant as ever, looking to repeat. Maybe they can, but that Florida Georgia game, if Florida keeps up what they did last night, that's just going to be a fun game in Jacksonville. I'm definitely going to go to that game. Maybe game day will probably, I don't know what games are on that day, but maybe college game day. I know for a fact because they do it every year. SEC Network game day is going to be there, but maybe college game day in Lee Corso. But to the game that they were actually at, Ohio State and Notre Dame. This was a good game. Notre Dame was winning 10-7 at halftime, but their offense didn't score any more points. But I do want to give credit to Marcus Freeman and his defense for holding Ohio State to only 21 points. Because this is an Ohio State team that has probably a Heisman candidate or maybe the Heisman favorite. I don't know the odds right now, but C.J. Stroud is probably one or two. Best quarterback in college. Last year, you know what he did last year. Their offense is insane. They averaged how many points? They were the number one offense in the nation. They averaged 45.7 points per game. And Marcus Freeman is first. My career. I'm head coaching him a game. Yeah, that makes sense. First, I'm game coaching at Notre Dame. He held him to 21 points. That should be, I'm going to talk about a bit more. He, pretty impressive for his defense. Offense, yeah. They had how many total yards? Not a lot, right? Yeah, it was not a lot. It was, their quarterback threw for 177 yards. And oh my. Their leading rusher had 28 yards. Yeah. Not the best look for Notre Dame. Their defense, though, is probably going to be insane. C.J. Stroud still had an okay game, 24 for 34, 223 yards, and 2 touchdowns, no picks. But yeah, it looks like Notre Dame's defense is going to have to carry them. Or maybe this is just Ohio State have an amazing team, which they probably do. I'm willing to bet that. But yeah, this is still major props for Marcus Freeman going into the horseshoe and only losing by 11 points, And this was my first my game at Notre Dame. So yeah, that is the summary of last night's college football. Florida upset number 7 Utah. I think Florida might get ranked after this game, but I'm not sure how far out Florida was. Utah is probably going to bounce back. I see them going 11-1. I'm pretty sure. I don't really see any team that, right? I don't really see a team that could beat them, unless they do play USC, so that is going to be a big game there. But besides that, they do play Oregon, but Oregon, yeah, that's not really the best team. It is a good team, but not to Utah's level. But USC against Utah, that's going to be a big game. That's on October 15th, week 7. If USC is like what everyone thinks they're going to be, that's going to be a big game. But besides that, 10-2, 11-1, that is probably what they're going to finish. Probably pack my 12 champs. Maybe a playoff team, but never know. But Florida shocked a lot of people, including myself. I didn't think it was going to be this good. But yeah, Anthony Richardson, for me, is the Heisman favorite now. It is going to be fun to watch him this year, and it's going to be fun to be a Gator fan. And hopefully your team did pretty good this week too. And that's it. Signing off. See you guys later. Bye.